I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Boy, all that like Keenan. Still got crack, they fiendin'. Flow still hot like Phoenix. Shine so bright, I'm gleaming. This off top, I'm tweaking. Fresh out the rat like Neiman. And I'm still tryna fight my demons. Cause we all gotta act like Tina. That's why I gotta ride with the Nina. Outside, it's a war going on. Maybe put my hands on my head like the Macarena. They want you walking on board like chemo. And give an F to you like John Cena. Putting blood on the brand new Beamer. Tryna earn 8 stripes like Adidas. You get cold when you ride with the heater. It'll turn you to a dog like a keto. And expose to a cat like a cheetah. They smoke my partner like reefer. Dímelo porque o no entiendo. Mi gente must really need Jesus. They shed real blood. I never seen the crypt and I believe it. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Y'all just talk, don't live it. And just took that route that's seen it. And I'm so outspoken like Reason. Jimmy Neutron, boy, young jeans. And I'm a self-made man out of Sweden. And it's still off top, I'm tweaking. But I still gotta fight my demons. I ain't no good, I'm evil. I ain't been clean since Eden. It's a war going on outside. Make you put your hands on your head like the Macarena. That's why I gotta watch my demeanor. You know they locking up blacks and Latinos. It's the same old game, ain't nothing really changed but the mileage on the meter of the Beamer. You get cold when you ride with the heater. It'll turn you to a dog like a keto. And expose to a cat like a cheetah. They smoke my partner like reefer. Dímelo porque o no entiendo. Mi gente must really need Jesus. They shed real blood. I never seen the crypt and I believe it. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. I can do this with my eyes closed. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Boy, all that like Keenan. Still got crack, they fiendin'. Flow still hot like Phoenix. Shine so bright, I'm gleaming. This off top, I'm tweaking. Fresh out the rat like Neiman. And I'm still tryna fight my demons. Cause we all gotta act like Tina. That's why I gotta ride with the Nina. Outside, it's a war going on. Maybe put my hands on my head like the Macarena. They want you walking on board like chemo. And give an F to you like John Cena. Putting blood on the brand new Beamer. Tryna earn 8 stripes like Adidas. You get cold when you ride with the heater. It'll turn you to a dog like a keto. And expose to a cat like a cheetah. They smoke my partner like reefer. Dímelo porque o no entiendo. Mi gente must really need Jesus. They shed real blood. I never seen the crypt and I believe it. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Y'all just talk, don't live it. And just took that route that's seen it. And I'm so outspoken like Reason. Jimmy Neutron, boy, young jeans. And I'm a self-made man out of Sweden. And it's still off top, I'm tweaking. But I still gotta fight my demons. I ain't no good, I'm evil. I ain't been clean since.
Welcome in. Week 12, Sunday morning stream. I'm your host, Ben Husser. I'm joined by Anthony Carson this week. We don't know where Sam is. He's MIA, AC. I heard he's sick. We don't know where he is. So we're here to answer all of your Week 12 questions, season-long DFS, sports betting, prop picks, survivor pools, if anyone's still alive. I don't know if that's still going on. Whatever you guys got for us, we're here to answer. If you're in the chat, say good morning. As always, we're going to shout out our sponsors, Owner's Box Fantasy. If you haven't already, Owner's Box down online, promo code KARMA for your $500 deposit match and free DFS entry. Travis also mentioned that they might be giving out some free entries, so go check your account. Log in. You might have a free entry in there. We'll be building a lineup for their main GPP later on, about halfway through the show, and you can use the lineup we make with your free entry. Anthony, we have to redeem ourselves, first of all, for the lineup that we made the last time you were on here.
Because
it was
really
horrible.
Off the board there.
It was bad. But so I haven't talked to you much Thanksgiving. Things have been crazy. We got NBA World Cup going on, but what's your thoughts on the slate? How many teams you playing? How you doing?
I like the slate a lot. I think, like I said in Discord, a lot of times we do come on here and we play the woe is me, this slate sucks, this is terrible. I think this slate's really fun. I'm playing more lineups than I should, but I'm playing less volume, if that makes sense, Ben. I got 7 teams right now, really just kind of 6 GPPs and 1 cash, and then 1 on FanDuel. We'll talk about FanDuel because we do have a lot of people that continue to play a lot of FanDuel. Listen, everyone's going to play Wilson and White, and I think those are the basic core building blocks that should be pretty much in all of your lineups. I mean, it's one of those rare situations where fading those type of plays will hurt you. You wrote it up in Final Thoughts. I went through your Final Thoughts / cheat sheets. Again, that's a premium product, guys, where not just this week, but, think about it. Thanksgiving, short, tight week. Everybody's got family traveling. Like, they're not in the trenches as much. You can simply log into our website, dfskarma.com, if you're a premium subscriber, and Ben does all the work for you. Like, you don't even really need to be in the trenches all week. Everything's color coded. I'm going through it right now. Again, I see Mahomes, Geno, and Cash, Wilson, White, Devontae, T. Higgins, Keenan Allen, Garrett Wilson. And again, this is all DFS related. Any season-long questions, happy to answer that as well. But I'm playing mostly just game stacks. Arizona, I am really high on. Maybe that does bite me at the end of the day. Arizona Chargers game. I mean, I know they're going to be owned, Ben, but I'm playing Murray and cash games on FanDuel. I actually debated it on DraftKings, but I'm going Herbert on DraftKings, and I basically just have a game stack between FanDuel and DraftKings and my cash games there. I'm not as high on the Geno game, even though I do have exposure. I have a DK in my main FanDuel lineup, which you can access if you're a Core Play subscriber. I don't know, man. What are you thinking on the slate? I'm looking right now at betkarma.com, all the odds comparison stuff, checking out the props, which helps both for betting and DFS questions.
Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, like the video or the stream, it does help us out. But I think this is a fun slate too. I love slates where we have like these clear running back plays because I'm fine eating chalk at running back. So I like when we have these cheaper running backs that we know are the best plays, and you can just plug those guys in and then just fill in, whatever stacks you want around it. So I'm not concerned in tournaments like the ownership on someone like Jeff Wilson or Rashad White. Like, I just don't care. I'm going to play them, especially in the stuff I play, which is like smaller field. It's really not going to matter because they're going to be so high owned. So I'm just going to plug those guys in and then build my stacks in around. And I think there's some good tournament plays as well. Like Michael Carter is like Isaiah Pacheco. Those guys are in that 5K range. Even Latavius Murray, but I think he's pretty far down. Like, I'm not going to play Latavius Murray today. But
we got 2 talking points right there. Carter, Pacheco. And the reason why I bring that up is, yes, I agree with you. I love them both. You and I have an almost identical, and again, it's another premium product, guys. If you want to check out the core plays, which Ben and I put thousands of dollars on, Ben's GPP core play, which I was pretty much going to put as my core play. Ben actually had essentially the same one. We have a different flex, but I can tell you they both involve Pacheco and Carter. So you and I, and you brought up Carter. and Pacheco both in final thought. So again, this is how you can use our website to build constructive good lineups with having the research all week. So I love your calls there, Ben. I'm on those. But again, we don't always agree. I think you and I have some disagreement potentially with Latavius Murray. So let me hear your side of the story, because I got to be honest, Ben. Again, this feels like the Darrell Henderson, on FanDuel, especially, multiple weeks ago, where he was like 5,500 on FanDuel. I mean, I know Latavius isn't that cheap. I think he's 6,200 on FanDuel, but like, to me, historically playing these DFS trenches for several years now, I feel like I hate saying the word must play, but in my opinion, Ben, he's a must play. I think you're going to disagree. And especially on DraftKings, like, he's even cheaper on DraftKings. And if you look at our projections portal, another premium product, and you sort by karma value, he is our second best karma value play in the entire slate. So tell me why I'm wrong on Latavius Murray.
Yeah, I don't think you're necessarily wrong. I feel like on a normal week, also to Ned in our Discord, I cannot see the questions until after this stream, because I don't have it pulled up. So if you have a question specifically right now, hop in here, drop your questions. We will answer them. If not, I will be in Discord after the stream. Sam also just said he updated ownership, Anthony. So if you refresh projections portal, you see the ownership. But I don't necessarily think he's a bad play. I think on a normal week, I'd probably, on a normal week, he would be just like an absolute lock, right, in cash. And he's gonna be owned. It's not like he's gonna be low owned. But I think on this specific week, I can't put him above Jeff Wilson. I can't put him above Rashad White. And I really can't put him above P. Ryan, just because I think the Bengals offense is better. We've seen P. Ryan be good when he's gotten some reps. We know he can catch passes. Obviously, we've seen Murray for years as well, but I can't put him above any of those guys for cash games. So, and then we go to tournaments. I think I'd rather play like a lower owned Michael Carter or a lower owned Pacheco than him in tournaments, but I don't think he's a bad play. I just don't. It's just, I don't know. I think I prefer the lower owned guys in tournaments, and I can't put him above any of those other three guys for like cash games.
That's fair. And again, that's why I love doing these with you, because we're not always 100% on the same page. And look, I just think at the end of the slate, at least for me, I'll kick myself if I don't play Latavius Murray. But, again, that'll be looking backwards. So where do you want to go next with this slate? Again, I like to start on a macro level. Usually it's not cut and dry besides the running backs. I mean, again, I personally just absolutely love sticking with the Murray on FanDuel. We'll get a little bit more rushing upside. I know Geno's there, but again, I'm always going to lean with the Coors Field effect, dude. We started in baseball. Give me, if we're running this simulation of 18 DFS slates in NFL DFS, I'm always going to play the Coors Field effect, just always. So if I had to lean one way, I personally am leaning the Herbert Murray angle today over the Geno in some of the other areas. Where are you thinking on a macro level for your, I guess, cash game / 3 max entry type, macro plays, especially at quarterback? Because it's not cut and dry.
I think I don't know. It's tough to not play Geno just because I know he's going to be the highest on quarterback, and I don't really see him hurting you. I mean, he's juiced way over 1.5 passing touchdowns. So, I mean, I feel like you're probably going to get close to 250 and 2 touchdowns from him, and he's 6K. So, I think he's probably the best route for cash. But if you want to get up to Kyler, I don't think it's a bad move. You even could get it. I had a build. You could get all the way up to Mahomes if you wanted, but it's Mahomes. I don't think he's not really he definitely will go off, but I'm not sure if he doesn't typically. He can definitely run, but he doesn't typically have the run ability of Josh Allen or Hurts to where he's going to get the 100-yard bonus and just completely dust you. So I think Geno's probably the best route, but if you want to play either Kyler or Herbert in that other game, I mean, it's one of the best games on the slate. I don't think it's bad. In terms of stacks, what stacks do you like? Scott says Bet Karma Live Trend's very useful. Thank you, Scott, for using it. I think for stacks, I really like Burrow today. I like Tua for leverage off of Jeff Wilson. I think you can play Tua with Jeff Wilson too. But I really like Burrow today. Do you have any Burrow? Because I think he's a really good play. I mean, we've seen him late last season, got really hot around this time. He's coming off that pretty much his best game of the season against Pittsburgh. Tennessee's given up some big games to quarterbacks. AC, they've given up, a big game to Matt Ryan, big game to Carson Wentz. I think it's a really good spot for Burrow.
Yeah, I don't know where you were when we opened the podcast here, but I said, your core play, not to give it away, is a Burrow game stack with Cincy and a little sprinkle of Tennessee guys. I won't give it all away, but I also said that's my favorite spot of the slate. Tennessee definitely can slow down a game, which is concerning. But at the end of the day, we did see them kind of play up tempo against the Packers. We do know the Bengals are going to force it through there no matter what. I absolutely love the spot. I want to play Higgins on FanDuel. I can't freaking fit him in, which is upsetting.
Yeah, he's too expensive. So so we'll talk FanDuel real quick and then we'll start answering some of these questions. But I think
it's my favorite.
Probably have Hopkins over him.
Say that again.
FanDuel. On FanDuel, I think you would play Hopkins over T. Higgins for the price.
Yeah, and that's what I have on FanDuel because again, I'm going with Murray, so I figured I might as well just correlate it up, and then I'm sprinkling in Hayden Hurst, so I still have some Cincinnati exposure over there on FanDuel. But I love the spot. Besides the two games, we talk about the Dome game, the Seattle game. I mean, for me, it's Burrow, just like you. It's like not even close. I think the $100 single entry that pays $100,000. I think the first place is my Burrow GPP stack, which is eerily similar to yours. My flex is Carter, and yours is, I think, Pacheco.
Yep. And I think Carter's. I have a lot of Carter. I think he's a good play. But Frank, 3 running backs for cash. Yes. Njoku or Foster, Moreau, AC. I think. You said you're playing Moreau earlier, so is that where you're leaning?
Yeah, for the 7th or 8th week in a row. I mean, it's unbelievable how many weeks I'm playing this guy legit in cash. And I'm going to go back to the well again because we have been targeting Seattle, just like Arizona against tight ends. And look, he's playing every snap. I feel like last week, like we were watching, and maybe you wrote it in your content too, Ben. I mean, he is pass blocking a lot, but he's out there every play. He is athletic enough, 3,400. I mean, I like the spot a lot. Like, I'm surprised, and again, maybe because there's a lot of guys this week, I'm surprised he's not getting more traction, but I love him this week in cash game, honestly.
Yep, I agree. Luke says Sky Moore's the guy I'm considering for a punt wide receiver in a Mahomes stack. I know you like Irwin. Yeah, so I wrote up Irwin in final thoughts. He's $3K on DraftKings with Chase out. He's going to be on the field a little bit. Not someone I would play like in cash games, but I think for tournaments, like especially if you're playing Burrow, it's nice to put someone in that's 3K, a wide receiver, instead of Hurst, who everyone's playing at 3,300. Sky Moore, I mean, I think is good, but I mean, Juju's back, so you have to remember that. I mean, I don't know. They've just shown like that they really don't want to play him a ton if they don't have to. So with Juju back, I do think that might affect him a little bit. But I mean, if you're building for these like large field tournaments, you can always put someone like that in. Is there any punts you like, AC? Irwin is probably mine. I think he's interesting.
Yeah, I saw you wrote him up, and I had him in a lineup, and then I took him out. That's probably the biggest punt. There's a couple random guys that I like dude, Chris Moore, I think is 3,800. I know it's like totally off the wall, but I've noticed that I'm sprinkling in, and I almost favor guys like him and Nico Collins over Garrett Wilson. Like we can talk about that. Like, I guess I don't understand the Garrett Wilson complete chalk. I think that's like an easy fade, especially with the weather. I mean, the whole situation just stinks in that game, period. And I mean, he's going to be super high owned. I would rather have Nico Collins and a Chris Moore, in a game that you absolutely know they're going to be throwing. I mean, 100% certainty up until, the end of the game. So that's kind of like where I'm leaning. Like I'm way more exposed to guys like Chris Moore and Nico Collins than I am a Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish Garrett Wilson wasn't chalk. I think he's a good play, but to your point, it is kind of tough to play him as chalk.
I feel like I don't even need him.
Yeah, I do not have him currently. I did not need him, but I mean, I think he's fine. Scott's in Las Vegas. Favorite bet? I think I would go. What do you have one, AC?
Yeah, I do like Seattle coming off the bye a lot, and if you're trying to get weird with it, a little parlay Seattle, Jets, and the Commanders. I like the Commanders a lot. Like, I was surprised that line was only 3.5 this week, Ben. I didn't know what your thoughts were on that. I mean, yeah, they lost Pitts. The Commanders are amazing at stopping the run. How are the Falcons going to win that game? Honest to God. I mean, how?
Yeah. I don't mind that. I don't mind the Chargers, but I hate betting on the Chargers because
Yeah.
the Chargers are the most tilting team to bet on, in my opinion, because they just always just find ways to mess things up. So I think I agree. I kind of like Washington, but I like to. I don't know. I know like it's not really plus EV, but you can really like if you bet guys like 2+ TDs, like you can really make some money. But I wouldn't be putting like heavy units on that. It's like dart throws. So like Jeff Wilson 2+ touchdowns or like Kenneth Walker 2+ touchdowns, I think is interesting. Like I would be throwing a little bit on that if I could actually bet on sports, which we finally can, AC January 1st. We're like a month away from finally. I don't have to like go through people to like put bets in. It's insane.
By the way, I usually don't do this, but I'm actually switching to Kyle Murray in cash games and draft games too. Like I'm just all in on Murray today.
You're
I
just
feel like
going in.
the hamstring. I think the
Yeah, I
hamstring.
told you I can swap if I need to, but I have Geno right now, but I have room to like. We'll see how these early games go, and then
Yeah.
can always move around stuff if I need to. Yeah, we talked about Burrow, Ned, Mahomes, White, Wilson. Okay, I'm not reading this entire lineup, but I think that looks fine for the most part. Terry McLaurin, I think, is interesting. I don't have any of him, but I do think he's a good play. Do you have any Terry McLaurin, AC?
I don't, only because the weather in that game a little bit. I'm always scared. Like I said, I'm a baseball guy.
Mhm.
Like I'm scared of the weather. I like to be in the domes. I don't know. AJ Terrell's back, right? I mean, he's probably going to shadow him, so I'm kind of off him to be honest.
P Ryan or Pacheco for cash? I think you're playing P Ryan for sure.
Yeah,
At least in
you're right.
cash games. It's just too risky. Casey can score too many ways. They can always mix in other guys, but I do think Pacheco's gonna take over. Jimmy G, I don't have any of them. He's interesting for tournaments. Maybe for like the late slate, I might play some Jimmy G or something. But what's your thoughts on him? I don't have any of him, but I think if I was playing if I end up playing the afternoon slate, like I can see myself playing him because New Orleans secondary is not good.
Oddly enough, I was considering him draft or FanDuel cash games because he's cheap there. It just seems like a great spot. There's just so many weapons. No one's going to play him. So tournament's unbelievable play today. Like unbelievable. He could easily be in the Millie Maker lineup, without a doubt.
100%. PPR start 3, Rashad White, Jeff Wilson, Murray, Evans, Lockett. Wow. Okay, so I think Jeff Wilson 100% must start. I think Rashad White 100% must start.
Yeah.
So you're picking between Murray, Evans, Lockett. Who's your lean there, AC?
I probably say Lockett, even though I do like.
Yeah, that's close. Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong, Kevin, to be honest with you. Your team has to just be loaded. Unbelievable. Favorite cash tight end on DraftKings? I think Hayden Hurst is going to be pretty chalky. He's 3,300. I think Foster Moreau will be not chalky, but I mean, he's in play. I think it's tough. It's tough to get up to like an Andrews with these wide receivers we have, because it's like I like Andrews a lot for tournaments, but do you want to play him over like T. Higgins or Keenan in cash? I don't think so.
I tried hard. I mean, I was like, I gotta have him. I gotta have him. So many weeks in cash games the last few years I've lost where the Andrews was like 20% owned, and I just didn't play him. I mean, he's easily could just drop 30, and then within including the rake, if he's 18 to 20% owned, I mean, you have to beat 20% of the field, which can be tough because these other guys can literally just throw up 5 points, 6 points. So that's the issue. Is that right there. But in tournaments, like you said, Ben, that's why your core where you have Mark Andrews with Joe Burrow, I have the same setup. Like I have Mark Andrews with my Joe Burrow stack. And
I think he's a great tournament play. Jacksonville's horrible against tight ends. And he's finally healthy. Ricky, are you holding mic? Yeah, I need a new I have like a thing to put this mic on, but I haven't set it up yet, so I'm just holding it. But
keep the questions coming. We'll
drop your questions. We'll get to them. Would you play? Where did this question go? Would you play Henry or Hopkins on Owner's Box? So speaking of Owner's Box, use your promo code Karma for your $500 deposit match. Obviously, Kyle has taken advantage of this. We'll be building a lineup for that in a little bit here. So just straight up, Henry or Hopkins, AC? I think you would lean Hopkins, right?
I would lean Hopkins, yes, for sure. But man, Henry just
I think Henry's interesting if you're playing Burrow because, like, on one hand, you think of like Tennessee, like they'll slow the game down and run the ball, but Henry's capable of long touchdown runs, So,
Yeah, for sure.
like, in one hand, that kind of speeds the game up at the same time. So, Luke says, thoughts on playing Andrews and Kelsey together? Yeah. I mean, tournaments, I don't hate it. I don't really think anyone will do that. So,
Yeah. There's been weeks where I've toyed around with that, like in 3-max entry. I'm not this week, but
do you have any Kelsey? I think I have him on one team.
I actually do have a Chief stack because, again, a couple of years ago, I just learned the pain.
Yeah,
like,
you just always play him.
I always have a Kelsey. I have a Kelsey Juju. I mean, obviously Mahomes stack. And
So, do you want to
it's
know?
just
I had a dream about a player last night, AC. Do you want to do you
Who
want to
was
know
it?
what the dream was? I had a dream that for whatever reason, in my dream, Patrick Mahomes was just running like a 50. He was running a 50-yard touchdown. So,
like Justin Fields style, huh?
yeah, I don't know. It was bizarre. And then I
But you
was
didn't.
like tilting that in my dream I was tilting because I was like, I don't have like why did I
Yeah.
not play Mahomes? And I'm just like
So
watching
Ben,
him run this
so
touchdown.
I don't know if you answered it, but you do have a Chief stack, right? Somewhere in your
Yeah, I got some Chiefs. I have a lot of Burrow and then Chiefs and Dolphins. That's
we
really
got this narrative,
it.
a handful of times over the last few years, and it's like, oh God, the Chiefs are favored by 15.5. Like, I'm not playing them. They're gonna be tired. It's like DFS.
Yeah, I mean they're like the Bills though, like they're gonna score 30 points, 30, 40 points before like it really like affects them.
Yeah, so it's I've learned the hard way. I've lost a lot of money not playing them at times, and now it doesn't even matter. I always have a Mahomes stack somewhere in my GPPs.
Yeah. Can you play Carter and Wilson in the same lineup? I don't think I would do that just because they're both going to get short targets. So it's going to be like one or the other, I think. And I like Carter a lot. Yeah, Allen Robinson is likely out. No, I'm not playing any Rams. Are you?
I'm not. You know what's interesting, Ben, is that quarterback. He's intriguing from a rushing perspective. I mean,
yeah, he's a preseason guy, man. We play him in preseason all the time.
I mean, it's the one thing I have a concern. This is why again, that's talk freaking defenses. I absolutely hate it in DFS, but I do think it is very important in some of your GPPs today to toss a couple of different defenses because if he's running all the time, I mean, I don't know.
I like who are some of your defenses? I like Jets.
I saw your
any defense on DraftKings that's not the Chiefs is going to be like somewhat low because they're going to be like 50% up.
The Jets.
I like the Commanders, dude.
Yeah, I was
no
just
one
is
playing them at 3,600. That's way too much. No one will play them.
I'm loyal to the Commanders. I had them last week. They dropped like 25 points in my flex, and that actually, ironically, Ben, that's my Chief stack. That's my Chief stack with Commanders and Antonio Gibson in the flex, who I just love. Man, okay. I played Gibson, by the way, in DraftKings cash games last week, and it helped out. No one's going to play him this week. I mean, he's always good for 3.5, 4.5 catches, 60 yards rushing. No one's going to play him this week. So I got him in the flex right
now. Do you think Devontae is too expensive or is he an auto use in cash and GPP? I don't think he's too expensive for what he's been doing, but I do think him versus Hopkins is a conversation because Hopkins is, $1,000 less in salary. So I've kind of been, I don't know, I've been kind of thinking about that, but the good thing is they're both late games, so you can kind of decide later on and move your lineup around. Stack Chargers, Cardinals, weather in all the early games is horrible. Yeah. I mean, the late games are definitely better. So, but I still like the Bengals a lot. Like, I'm not concerned. I don't know. I like the Bengals a lot. And I mean the Dolphins game is fine, there's no weather there, so
man, I
those
wonder
are like
if
the two spots. It is windy in Tennessee, but I don't care. I've seen this movie before with Joe Burrow. No one plays him. Like he's not going to be owned. He's going to be like, 10 or less, and he throws for 400 yards. He just did it against Pittsburgh. Literally nobody played Bengals in 15-degree weather, and he just went crazy. Like he does this all the time.
He's so good.
Yeah, and then I tilt that I didn't play him, so I'm playing him this week.
Dude, the AFC North quarterbacks next year. I mean, is there a better division? Like all around. I mean, I'm saying top to bottom.
Yeah, that's I mean, Lamar, Burrow, and Deshaun Watson.
Pickett. I mean, I
strong.
think Pickett's going to be good. I mean, I do.
Would you consider Akins a run back with Tua? Yeah, you can get weird with your run back, but I don't know. I also think that like the Dolphins are going to put up 30 or 40 points, and it just doesn't matter like what the Texans do. To be honest, Olave or Sutton season long. Wow. I guess Sutton. I don't know. It's kind of like a coin flip. No hat. Yeah, dude. I'm like mixing things up because I'm so sad about the King of the Beach last week. I'm just completely just mixing everything up. But the good news is though, we've been crushing World Cup DFS, so it's like it kind of like made me feel a little bit better. But I don't know. Any love for Nico Collins? Wasn't Nico? This is so funny. This is so funny how DFS works. Was not Nico Collins was like chalk last week, and now
Did I
just
not
no
bring
one
him up?
plays him.
I already
He
brought
was
him up.
like everyone's favorite play last week, and now just no one cares.
I love him this week. I love him. I love freaking. I can't even talk about all the Texans right now. But yes, I'd rather play Texans than the freaking Jets guys. I mean, I don't understand why the Jets guys are all popular and
Except for Carter.
Yeah, I do. I'm playing Carter.
And solid picks in chat. James Robinson out. Yeah, I mean, it's just, dude. Carter averaged with Mike White last year. I'm not even. I think he averaged over 15 fantasy points a game. I mean, this guy just throws.
I mean, James Robinson needs to go away.
Well, he's out, so it doesn't matter.
James Robinson's out?
Yeah. That's what solid picks in chat says. I haven't confirmed this. Let me look here.
I'm going to lose with Latavius.
James Robinson is inactive. This is factual information. So
I'm going to lose.
Yeah, even more reason to play. Carter. Yeah, Shay. I mean, he's his quarterback is just bad. I don't hate Nico Collins as a player. I just think it's funny that like this happens in DFS football all the time. Like every week, there's like a super chalky cheap receiver, and he'll get like 6 points, and then the next week it'll be literally the same scenario, same matchup, everything, and no one plays him. This literally happened with Donovan Peoples-Jones like 2 weeks ago.
Ben, was that unexpected news though with James Robinson?
I mean, I wasn't really factoring him as much of a threat, but it doesn't hurt. I'm trying to check this news real quick. Favorite GPP stacks? Yeah, we talked about this a little bit earlier. I like the Bengals a lot. I like the Dolphins. I think you can stack Tua in small field with Wilson, or you can just not use Wilson and use like Tyreek or something. And then AC really likes this like Chargers Cardinals game, so he likes Kyler a lot, which I think is fine. And then you have to have like if you're playing more than like 2 teams, I think you would want some Chiefs stuff, like just in case. And you don't have to play Kelsey. I mean, like just stack like Mahomes and Juju, you know, like Juju's pretty cheap.
I mean, I feel like I got to play James or Michael Carter in cash games over Latavius now, right? I mean,
I like Carter more than him anyways. So like even before that, but I mean.
But I guess I assumed James Robinson was in, but now I'm just talking out loud as this news breaks. Like, yeah, I mean, find the $300 for me, get up to Michael Carter, and you know.
Can you rank the low salary running backs? I feel like there's 5 or 6 this week. Yeah, I think Jeff Wilson's number 1. I think Rashad White is number 2. I think P. Ryan is number 3. I think Carter is 4. Pacheco and Murray are interchangeable for those next 2, probably, for me. At least that's how I would rank them. Terry or Boyd? Probably Boyd.
I like Boyd this week. He's
good.
He had a quiet game last week, and we know he can just go off. So
yeah, for sure. And it's a good matchup. DraftKings last piece under 32. I mean, you don't have many options down there. I like Irwin. He's 3K. So if you want to get really weird with me, what do you say?
You like him over Justin Watson?
I think so. I just with Juju back, I mean, Watson's gonna play, but like they could just, I mean, it could just be
True.
Kelsey,
That is
Juju,
true.
Pacheco. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's not like a few weeks ago when they were just like down everybody. Juju is a really good tournament play, dude. Like, no one will play him because they've kind of forgotten, but he was doing really well before he got injured.
All right, season-long question for you, Ben, from
Mhm.
AC himself. In the flex, Latavius Murray, Josh Palmer,
Okay.
Juju. I guess I have Brandon Ayuk too, but
I think that's between Juju and Murray,
yeah.
and I would pick Juju. Dude, the Broncos are just bad though, you know? Like that's like the one thing that like I guess that's probably honestly what's holding me back with Murray is that the Broncos are just not good. I know
Yeah.
the Panthers suck too, but it's like the Broncos could score like 10 points today and I would be like not surprised because they're just awful.
Carolina, you're right, did shut down Kenyon Drake last week too, and that was bad chalk after the fact, even though I played him on both sides.
Yeah. Season long PPR pick one, Palmer, Boyd, Lazard. I think it's between Palmer and Boyd, maybe.
Yeah, Lazard definitely last.
Lazard is a tough matchup. I would probably lean. Oh man, I guess Palmer. I mean, he's going to be the number 2 with Mike Williams out, you know, and it's a good matchup, one of the better games. You don't have to worry about any wind or weather or anything, but it's very, very close, I think. All right, we're gonna build owner's box on up here in a second. Last question here. Does that make Michael Carter a better cash play than P Ryan? I don't have to think about it because I have like a really cheap tight end right now in my lineup, and I have P Ryan, so I'll look around. I have so much Carter though, so
He's now going to be mega chalk. I mean, like mega chalk.
I don't think
soon.
so, dude. No one reacts to like late news like that. Like, and no one's playing him over P Ryan or Wilson or White or even probably Murray.
I would
if
play
I
him
had to.
over P Ryan in a heartbeat.
But
Like, not even
yeah, I'll have to see like what that. I think it's only what like a $200 or $300 difference. I'll have to see what that would allow me to do because I did need salary in my team. But all right, we're gonna build an owner's box lineup. Let me pull it up here. And we're gonna start out here. Can't open this. All right.
keep some questions. We'll
Yeah.
rapid fire.
Keep dropping your questions, and you know we'll get to them. You can see in the chat there. Plug this lineup in. Promo code Karma for a $500 deposit match and a free DFS entry. AC, do you want to stick with our strategy of like plugging in these like chalkier running backs that are just cheap?
Yeah,
And then
you
we can
have
put
to.
in
Like,
2
you'll
stacks.
literally not be in the running. So put in Wilson, put in White,
Okay, yeah. So we're just gonna put Rashad White and we're gonna put Jeff Wilson in.
put in our boy Carter.
We'll put
This is
Michael Carter in.
Again, I think the concept of owner's box is, in my opinion, the future of DFS because there's no defense, which is amazing. There's multiple flex spots, and you can get creative. You know, so this is how DraftKings and FanDuel should be, and this is why owner's box is legit growing market share. So use our promo code. I mean, it's free money if you guys haven't dabbled on the site. And honestly, play $100 a week in cash games, and you'll be surprised how often you're cashing on owner's box relative to FanDuel and DraftKings. I promise you that. All right, who are you putting in that 4th flex spot? So we got Carter.
Yeah, so we got those 3 running backs. Okay, first of all, let's figure out what stacks do you want to use?
I mean, I prefer the
We
Arizona.
we could play literally anybody.
Yeah, let's go. Let's stick with Arizona. And
Okay, so we'll go Kyler Hopkins stack with
right.
those cheap running backs, and then I'll find a cheap tight end that we can put in. Oh, we can do a double. We'll use McBride,
Wow, he's probably cheap.
which I think is fine. So we'll put Kyler Hopkins and then McBride in at tight end. And that gives us 57 per for flex, super flex, wide receiver. So let's think. What other stack would we want? How much is P Ryan on here? He's pretty cheap, right? 'Cause I think we could find a cheap receiver, and then like if we just plug P Ryan in, and
Dude,
then put a cheap
I got the bill.
receiver.
In the flex,
What?
play Herbert, so then we have just the whole correlation.
Yeah, we just have the whole game.
And then you can toss in Josh Palmer instead of Keenan, so a little pivot there, and then we just got to find somebody at 4,700 for the flex.
Okay. So
This is
put
why I love
Herbert
it.
in, put
It's
put
so
Herbert
fun.
and Palmer in, and then
Oh my God.
4,700 for a flex.
You can pick Gerald Everett. Let's go.
All right, let's go. All right, we're going with the complete Chargers Cardinals
Amazing.
game stack. This is the first time we've ever been able to do that.
This is how we. I mean,
Like
this
actually stack a game like that.
Ben, I'm guaranteeing this cashes. Like absolutely guaranteeing this lineup cashes. Watch, we have a train take this thing down too, which is funny. Lovely.
Some breaking news, Travis. I know you're an Orlando City guy for MLS, but Inter Miami is nearing a deal to sign Lionel Messi to make him the highest paid player in MLS history.
Wow. Did you see Cleveland's getting an MLS team in 2025?
Is that actual? Is that a thing? Yeah. I did not see that.
All right. Rapid fire.
All right,
questions.
keep dropping some questions. Yeah. Keep dropping some questions. We'll get to them here before we hop off. And then if you have any more questions, I'll be in Discord. Luke, Allen and Andrews, or Hill and Njoku? I think I would take the second one.
Yeah, I'd go with Hill and Njoku. Njoku could have a big game today.
Yeah, I think I have him on a team.
Again, final few minutes here. Get these questions through. You guys can go to dfskarma.com to access, like I said earlier, our projections portal, our ownership projections, our final thoughts, which I use for all sports, especially because I got a little baby girl now, so I can't research as much. You can tail all of our core plays. We spend literally thousands of dollars on these core plays. And then now I'm looking at my other monitor for betkarma.com. There's a lot of free stuff over there. The live trends tool somebody was already mentioning. That's how I start my research for all sports weekly. Props comparison tool, our SPF predictor for prize picks and monkey knife fight stuff, and our odds comparison tool.
Season-long PPR pick 2, White, Wilson, Aaron Jones. Definitely White.
You got to go Aaron Jones with that, though. I mean, he's got the upside.
Probably White and Jones. Andrews, Garrett Wilson, or Foster Higgins. Give me the second one.
Yes.
Is Garrett Wilson bad chalk for DraftKings cash? I don't think he's bad chalk, but in cash tournaments, I don't think I'd play him at his expected ownership. I don't think he's bad chalk for cash, but I also think there's so many good like running back plays that you don't need a $4,300 receiver this week.
I don't think he's going to be as owned as we think because there's so many cheap running backs. You know,
he might not be. He might not be. Milan wants to know your favorite bet this week, Casey.
My favorite bet, I think I got to continue to lean with Seattle. Like I just think that Raiders team is just so trash. I think they've already mailed it in. They had a nice win last week, but road game, playing in Seattle. And Seattle's coming off a bye. I love targeting teams coming off a bye. So that's probably my favorite bet on the board right now.
Milan. I think Milan is in Maryland, so he's got sports betting now.
Nice.
Because they just went live. But Ohio's coming up. Juju, Ayuk, or Boyd? Oh, okay. So if you're asking for one of those, I think Juju. I like Juju this week, man. I do. And then Carolina or Washington D. I like Washington a little bit better.
Agree. They got a lot of upside in Washington D. Like I said, I like that game, Milan too. If you're still here, as far as bet goes, I love Washington to cover that spread.
All right, guys. If you have any further questions, Discord, dfskarma.com/chat. You can get in for free. You can ask questions in the free channels in there. I'll be in there up until lock. Good luck this week. AC, any final words here on the stream?
No final words. Just keep grinding, guys. I mean, I know it seems like it's late in the season, but if you're including playoffs, like, listen, there is still 2 months.
Yeah, and there's like the extra game because it's 17 weeks, so we still gotta sound like.
Just keep fighting. I think a little bit of an extra week, with Thanksgiving. I don't think everybody is in the trenches as much. If you're on this podcast, you are. If you're in Discord and you're checking out our core plays, you're checking out final thoughts, you're going to have an edge versus the field. I think this is a week to get after it, and let's hopefully we have some big takedowns. Good luck this week, guys.